Hello, everyone. All right, so if you are, if this is your first time attending, then welcome. I'm so glad to have you here today. Noticing I'm not as bright as I usually am. But welcome to Plan the Week Live. If this is your first time, I am your host, Jamila Payne, and Plan the Week Live is a weekly talk series where I share my best tips and strategies that will help you to manage your existing priorities while also achieving big life, personal, business, and career goals. And so we're here every week on Sundays at 7 p.m. So this show was, as I mentioned, essentially created to help you to manage your ambitions. And I've been really excited about the email responses that I've been getting from Plan the Week Live. So we kicked off this series in December, and I've gotten so many great messages from people saying that they are applying the things that we talk about, and they're seeing results in their life and in their careers and in their businesses. So that makes me so happy. And if that's true for you, then I would love to hear about it. So feel free to type in the chat box or send me an email to hello@dailysuccessroutine.com. In fact, I'll put my email here in the chat so that you have it. Successroutine.com. Awesome. There it is. Okay, so one of the benefits to joining live is that you can get your questions answered live. So this is going to be an exciting I'm just checking. I see someone's unmuted. Okay, they fixed it there. So this is going to be an exciting session where you can essentially ask your questions here live. I can unmute you and take your question live. So you can just say, hey, would like to ask a question live or live question. You know, put LQ in the chat box and I'll know that you have a question you would like to ask live. Or you can just type it into the chat box and I will be constantly checking the chat box and answering any questions that you have. And so everyone who's here at the end, I'm going to give away one of our business badass t-shirts. So definitely make sure that you stay tuned for that. We had two awesome ladies who won t-shirts last week and those were shipped out to them. So congratulations to you both. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and jump into today's topic, which is about creating a portfolio career. So that's what we're talking about today. So let me go ahead. I'm curious though, where's everyone from? So type into the chat box and let me know, where are you joining from? Dallas, awesome, Michelle, that's great. Jessica, awesome. She said she did go ahead and cancel that gym membership that she's not using. She's gonna get started with her home workouts. Naldine from New York, Rue from Houston, awesome, Rue. I think Rue's joined before, so welcome back. Jessica's definitely joined before. Welcome back, Jessica. Houston. We have someone from Boston, Kim from Connecticut, Angela from Boston. Rue says yes. Okay, I remember your name. And okay, so awesome. So we're all over the place here, all the way from Dallas to Boston. So we got all kinds of weather going on this call tonight, which is really exciting. So, all right, so let's get moving here. So welcome again to Plan the Week Live, our weekly talk series, sharing strategies for managing existing priorities and achieving big personal, business, and career goals. I'm Jamila Payne, your host, and I am also the CEO of Daily Success Routine. And Daily Success Routine is an online personal development company that focuses on lifestyle design for ambitious women. So we create day planners, the success box, and weekly planning pads, along with seminars that essentially teach how to manage your existing priorities and achieve these big goals, projects, and plans that you're working on. We've been growing into a movement, and I've been traveling the entire US and even internationally, speaking to women across the country about being able to create a daily success life and what that means for them. How can they get more of what they want? And so this is an image from when I was in Boston for the Massachusetts conference for women. So yay for the Bostonites that are with us today. And then I did mention the Business Badass t-shirt that we're going to be giving away at the end of today's session. So definitely stay tuned for that. So today is all about creating your career portfolio. And I think this is a really timely and exciting topic that'll be helpful for you for several reasons. One is a lot of us are moving away from the traditional style of work. And when I say traditional, I mean go to school, get a good job, stay there for 30 years, and then retire and do the things that you've always wanted to do in life but have been afraid to do. And now people are looking at careers in a very different way. And they're saying, look, I want to be able to utilize my talents and gifts for where I am now, whether that's, in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, or beyond, right? And so there's no reason to kind of put off what you want to do. And for many people, they're passionate about multiple things. You're a multi-passionate individual. You have lots of things that you're excited about and want to execute on, but you might feel that you're limited in resources, maybe time or money or even energy. Like, oh my gosh, I just don't have the energy after I get home from a corporate position to be able to work on something else that you care about. And that could even be a ministry. It could be other things you want to do with your family or significant other. It could be a side hustle or business that you want to start. It could be a nonprofit board that you want to sit on and you feel like, how am I going to get all of these things in? There has to be a way for me to better kind of manage my career. So I myself remember as a young girl, like in college, that I was that way. Like I really had these different things that I was passionate about. I was torn between two careers. My entire life, I had kind of been, I had my dad who was kind of encouraging me to be an attorney. And then I found my own passion in math and science. And so I had this interest in maybe going into engineering. And so I was kind of groomed to be this engineer, but I had these passions that were in fashion design. And so I was really torn about how do I kind of fulfill these different talents or gifts or areas that I'm excited to do in my career. So ultimately, I had this position while I was in college, and they sent me to London. So I was working for an information systems company. They sent me to London, which, London is one of the fashion capitals of the world, right? I couldn't have planned it better myself. I land there in the middle of Fashion Week, and I'm like, this is it. Like, I'm going to explore London, and I'm going to leave here and make the decision of whether or not I'm going to continue down the path of engineering or whether or not I'm going to do something more related to business and marketing and fashion, like going in that other direction. Well, it was an eye-opener for me because ultimately I did end up switching my major and going on to be in the fashion world after I graduated from college. But kind of let me tell you the story and the catalyst for that when I arrived there in London. So I go down to the tents where London Fashion Week is happening. When I arrive at the tent, there's this guy standing there, like this huge, like think old school Arnold Schwarzenegger, but British, big buff guy who is standing there, and he's like, look, like hello, in his accent, of course, which I'm not going to try to mimic. But he says to me, in order to come in, I need your credentials. And I was like, credentials? What are you talking about? He said, your card. I need your business card. And I'm like, oh crap, like I'm technically a student. I'm there on a work experience. and I had no business card. So I was like, oh, well, I'm a buyer from America. I've come all the way here to see the shows. And the guy's looking at me like, I don't care if you're from America. I need your business card. And I'm like, well, I left it back at the hotel. It's much too far to go back. And the guy's like, I don't care. I need your card. So I start walking down the street. Lo and behold, I see this place called Copy King, which is like the UK Kinko's. I go in there, rent a computer, make up a business card, go back down to the tent, show it to the guy. I put on the card that I owned a boutique in Philadelphia called Nina Foyer. Now, why would there be a French name boutique in Philadelphia? But I was like, it sounds French, it sounds important. Surely he'll believe that I own this boutique. So the guy looked over my card curiously and let me into the shows. And that for me was the catalyst. It was the catalyst for saying, the only thing standing between me and the things that I want to do, my exploration of fashion and all these career passions that I have, is this guy. And I did whatever it took to make it happen. And I was nervous about doing that because I remember my stepdad saying to me when I was younger, let's say 12 or 13, like, you're a jack of all trades and master of none. And so maybe you've heard that, like maybe there's been a fear in you about pursuing some of the things that you want to do because you don't want to feel like you're exploring something new or different. And I just want to say, like, it's okay. Like, you can totally explore the things that you're passionate about and don't let other people's negative naysaying turn you away from that. And so today we're really going to dive into this career portfolio and how to go about creating that for yourself. So what do I mean when I say career portfolio? So think about it in terms of the stock market or investing. You might be, great investors are always encouraged to have a diversified portfolio. So you might have a little bit of stocks, a little bit of bonds, a little bit of mutual funds. You might have them spread across different companies. Some might be small companies, some might be mid-sized companies, some might be large companies, but you essentially don't have all your eggs in one basket. So when you're thinking about a portfolio in terms of your career, it's looking at what are the things that I'm involved in from a life career perspective that are aligned to the things that I want to create, my bigger goals and mission. Okay, so that's what it means to have a career portfolio. So let's go a little bit deeper there. Your career portfolio ultimately starts with getting clear on what your personal mission is. What is your statement? So if you don't already, pull out a piece of paper because we're going to workshop this. And I want you to be thinking about, if you don't know already, what your personal mission statement is. So here's a few examples. Amanda Steinberg is the founder of a company called Daily Worth and Worth FM, which is a financial services company. Her mission statement is to use her gifts and intelligence. It's actually cut off for me here, so I'm going to just read it from this piece of paper. So her personal mission statement is to use her gifts, intelligence, charisma, and serial optimism to cultivate self-worth and net worth for women around the world. I think that's awesome. What an awesome personal mission statement. And it really ties back to what she's doing because, like I said, she is running a financial services company called Worth FM. She started several years ago a website called Daily Worth, which shares a lot of content, blog posts around, finances and women, right? So it helps women to think about their money, plan for their money, know ways to spend their money, invest, etc. So that's Amanda's personal mission statement. Oprah Winfrey's personal mission statement is that she wants to be a teacher and to be known for inspiring her students to be more than they thought they could be. So we think about the work that Oprah does. My goodness, she is absolutely living out her mission. And I'm going to give some more examples of Oprah a little bit later in today's session. And then I'll share mine. My personal mission is to empower people to achieve financial freedom through lifestyle design and business ownership, to improve lives and to have fun in the process of doing that. And so the work that I'm doing today allows me to be able to live out my personal mission statement. So what would your personal mission statement be? So I want you to think about that. What would your personal mission statement be? And I'm going to give you some questions, 3 questions that you can answer that will help you to create your mission. All right, so the first one is, what do you do? So write down really quick, just a few words or a sentence. What is it that you do? And so you might be a healthcare professional. You might be a attorney. You might be a business owner in the healthcare field. Whatever it is that you do, write down, what do you do? Then the next question that you want to answer is, who do you do it for? So who are the people that you're serving? So if we think about some of the missions that we just heard, going back to Amanda, she says that she wants to work on the worth of women, right? So that's who she is specifically serving. Oprah utilizes it a little bit more broadly by saying that she's inspiring students, right? So it's really saying these are people who want to learn from her, who see her as a teacher. And so she's done that. She's doing that so she's not as specific, let's say, in terms of any gender or age range, right? But these are, if you're a student, to me, that means she's looking for lifelong learners. In my case, I put empower people to achieve financial ownership, but really my sweet spot is working with ambitious women. That is the work that I do, and it is the work that I've done throughout my career as an entrepreneur, and even as an entrepreneur inside of companies. It's primarily been, let's say if I was working in my field of trade, which is marketing, it's always been marketing largely to women audiences. And in my business, it's mainly been working with, women have been, 95% of the audience that I serve, except for in the case of when I'm working with corporate clients, in which case then it's mixed. All right, so hopefully this is coming together for you. So think about number 3. How do you do it? Is there some unique spin or twist or way in which you plan to serve this audience? So what do you do? Who do you do it for? And how do you do it? Those are the 3 questions that you want to answer. So I'm curious for you to share. So why don't we have a few people put up in the chat box just the what do you do? So if you know what it is you do clearly, then kind of let's workshop it. Put a few of what is it that you do in the chat box, and let's see what everyone is working on right now. Okay, awesome. Jessica says she's a pharmacy technician. That's awesome. Let's see what some other folks say. Michelle, she creates branding and design solutions. I love that. So keep filling up in the chat the what is it that you do. And take a second and everybody just make sure that you are answering that question. What do you do? Who do you do it for? How do you do it? Make sure you get that down. All right, so moving on to the next step, which is asking the question, what is in your portfolio? Oh, I love. Okay, Natalia says she's the fashion design and natural health yoga. I guess she's a yoga instructor. Wow, that's awesome. And then Jacqueline says that she owns a conscious fashion and wellness brand. Awesome. So you and Natalia need to be doing some partnering over there. It sounds awesome. Okay, so what's in your portfolio? So these are questions, critical questions that you should ask yourself right now. So you want to ask yourself, when I say what's in your portfolio, I mean like what's on your plate right now? What are you currently committed to right now? So you want to say, okay, if I look at what I have going on in terms of my work, when I say your work, it might be how you make a living, other things that you're doing for work. Maybe you are running a business. Maybe that's how you're making your living. Or maybe you have a business on the side that might be earning additional income for you. So you want to ask yourself the question, what is in my portfolio right now? So what am I currently committed to? Is what you're currently committed to underperforming, not doing well? Or is it high performing? It's really working. You have a business that is booming and that is great for you. Or you have a career that is booming that is great for you. Or is your career a little bit lackluster? You're working in a field that you're no longer passionate about. You want to make a shift. Or your business hasn't gotten to that revenue level that you want it to be at right now. And so it's underperforming. Or maybe your business is great, but you're not having that free time for yourself or some other, personal projects. Maybe it's spiritual leadership or other things that you want to do that you're underperforming in, right? Or you might have to say, actually, my portfolio needs a little investment. I don't have a lot going on right now. And it's not about being a lot, but maybe you don't have the right assortment of things going on that you want in your life. So let's hear from you right now. If you look at your overall portfolio, type into the chat box where you are. Are you under? Are you high? Or do you need investment? Under, high, or need investment? Oh, I love Jasmine said that she's a professional and career services consultant, and she helps job seekers make well-equipped and knowledgeable career decisions. I love that, Jasmine. So succinct, so clear. Okay, Jessica says that she is under right now. Jasmine says high. Jacqueline says under. Rue says under and need investment. Awesome. So a little bit of both. And that's great. I'm glad you said that, Rue, because sometimes you can need to make adjustments in more than one area. And Jasmine says she needs financial investment. I love the smiley face after. So awesome. So you know exactly where you stand right now in your portfolio. Natalia says high performing in my side business. I need investment in my personal endeavors. Love that. Get clear about the different areas of the life. Kim says, I have two businesses. One is underperforming because it's been neglected a bit while I've started my second business. And that's underperforming because it needs investment. Okay, awesome, Kim, that you're clear on exactly where you stand right now. All right, so where do we go next? Once you know where you stand, the next step is to make sure that you don't do more, but be more, right? So the thing is this is not about adding more to your plate. It's about, number one, getting clear on what you stand and being able to create that right assortment in your portfolio. Okay, so that's what we want to focus on. Not saying, let me add a bunch more stuff. It's not about like having, 10 things, 8 things, 6 things, even 5 things might be too much for your life, right? It might be that you have 3 or 4 really strong things that you're working on. And if it's just 1 or 2, that's awesome as well. So what should be in your portfolio? All right, so let's do a little bit of evaluation of our portfolios. The first thing that should be in there is your work and career activities. Then your mission aligned activities. So you have to evaluate, is what is currently on my plate aligned with my mission. If you have things that are on your plate that are not aligned with your mission, then there's some things that you might need to let go of. So let's say that you said for example, Michelle creates branding and design solutions. So let's say Michelle is invited to, sit on a nonprofit board, and they have asked her to be their fundraising chair. She might be excited about the organization, but being the fundraising chair of a nonprofit board is not necessarily going to help her create branding and design solutions for the community that she wants to serve, unless that nonprofit is related to the community that she wants to serve. Or she can say, hey, thanks for the opportunity to sit on the board. I don't think that I would be best suited in your fundraising chair, but if you're looking for someone that can help you to reevaluate the brand of the organization, then I'm your woman. So even thinking about your volunteer work and what you're doing, sometimes we're taking on things that aren't aligned with our bigger mission and goals. And when you start to align things, number one, you'll create so much more ease in your life because what you're doing is related. You can start to cross-pollinate these different activities. Like you can have people on the nonprofit board that you're working with be engaged in things that you're doing in your business or your career. You can start, bringing together those different communities. You can leverage your team members to be able to support the volunteer work. You can tie your company. There's so many synergies that can happen when you begin to align those things. Okay, so mission aligned activities, and then even your volunteer projects. Okay, so how are your volunteer projects aligned to your bigger goals and dreams? And I'm going to give you a bunch of examples of this in just a second. But the idea here is that, again, let's say if you have this audience of wanting to serve children, then maybe you're making sure that your volunteer projects are related to that bigger mission so that you can really create the impact that you want to create. So I really want to share some examples to bring this home for you. So this is, I'm jumping ahead here. So this is Candice Kumai. Candice is a wellness entrepreneur. And so if you look at these different images, which kind of show her career overall, Candice, she's written a book that talks about drinking clean green juices, right? So 100 different juicing recipes that she has available. Over here, you can see her doing a live cooking demo, looks like in partnership with Febreze. Here, she's on Dr. Oz show, and on the Dr. Oz show, she's sharing her information and expertise around health and wellness. And then if you look at her social media accounts, then you'll see her sharing recipes, doing exercises, talking about health and wellness and fitness activities. So this is sort of her career portfolio. It's all of the different things that she's involved in. And there's lots of them, but they're all aligned to her mission of health and wellness. So it's telling a consistent story about her and who she is, and it's giving her the ability to magnify opportunities towards her because it's super clear about what her brand is. And when I'm talking about brand, this is whether or not you have a business. You yourself are a brand. And so you want people to be clear about what your brand is about. And when they are clear about what your brand is about, they are going to naturally come to you for your expertise, for your talents and gifts, and bring you opportunities. So what if you're not an entrepreneur? How does this apply? Well, here's Tiffany Doufu, and if you were on Plan the Week Live, last week, then I talked a little bit about Tiffany Doufu, who represents more of the corporate executive. So Tiffany has been for the last, I'm not even sure how many years, it's been a while, the chief leadership officer of a company called Levo. And Levo does career development for millennial women. So this is what Tiffany's career portfolio looks like. She's operating in her corporate role, and in fact, you know, she actually is starting her own business now as well. But she's been operating in this corporate role. Her mission is around women and girls, serving women and girls, helping to improve their lives. So her corporate role, working in a company that helps millennial women do career development, you know, is that on target? Check. You know, you give a big check mark next to that. She's right on target. Then she has a speaking practice. So in her speaking practice, she often goes into companies and is speaking with their women empowerment groups or their women empowerment employee resource groups. Okay, so then she wrote a book called Drop the Ball, Achieving More by Doing Less, that is specifically focused on women and teaching women about how to drop the ball in their life. And then finally, she sits on the board of a school in Seattle that is a school for young girls. So everything that is in her portfolio is aligned with her greater mission of serving women and girls. Similarly to Candice, where everything in her portfolio is aligned to her mission of health and wellness. All right, and so just one more example for you, which is Oprah Winfrey, who kind of represents the visionary leader category. So if we look at Oprah's career portfolio, she has owned the OWN network, of course, her own television network. And who's the audience for the OWN network? Women and girls. She has a series that she does in a live event series called the Super Soul Sessions, along with the television show Super Soul Sunday. This, again, serves the audience largely of women, but it is also her teaching, right? And so she's also become known as a speaker. Here she is at the Oscars, where she did her well-known or popularly talked about talk on Time's Up. And that, again, is her taking a stand for women and girls and being in a moment of being a teacher while giving that speech. And then finally, she is the founder of a young girls' school in South Africa, again, in the role as a teacher, but also serving women and girls. So her portfolio is also very aligned. And so I hope this is coming together for you. If this is starting to resonate with you, please type yes into the chat box. If you're having aha moments for yourself and thinking about how you can better align your career, type yes into the chat box. And the idea here is to show you that sometimes we look at people and we see like, oh, they're doing all these things. And so we're trying to start 2, 3, 4 things simultaneously, and they're completely unrelated. They're completely disjointed, and we're feeling a lot of overwhelm and like we're pushing that boulder up the hill. And it's because the work that we're doing is not aligned. And so I do want to say that it's important that it's very hard to move 2 efforts forward from scratch. But if you get one to a point of getting momentum, right? So you didn't see Oprah saying, I'm going to start the network and I'm going to start a school for young girls simultaneously. No. She got one to a point of momentum. Then she's bringing in team members and other leaders that can help her to grow that vision. And then, only then, does she start on the next thing. And, you know, here she is with a woman who has tons of resources, but she's still taking this more strategic approach to what she is doing. She gets things to a place of momentum, and then she starts something else. All right, so good. This is all connecting. Jasmine says yes. Jessica, yes. Jacqueline, yes. Kim, Natalia, Rue, Angela, awesome. Okay, good. I'm glad it's connecting for you. All right, so the question is now, kind of what next? So it's exactly what we talked about. It's number one, getting clear on your mission. What is your mission? And how can you then begin to align that mission with a career career portfolio that makes sense? So you are looking at what is in my portfolio. Does it align with the things that does it align with my mission and the things that you care about? And then you have to evaluate and say, okay, I'm going to clean out the things that aren't working. I'm going to invest in the right things. I'm going to think about where am I underperforming and I need to do some work to get to a high performing level. And that might mean that there's some things that you're putting on pause until those underperforming assets get aligned in the right place. And then one of the bigger benefits of this, and I love this, and I think not only, I think Oprah is an awesome example, but sometimes, you can look at someone like Oprah who has achieved so much in her career, and that might feel a little bit unrelatable. But if we look at someone like a Tiffany Doufu, for example, we can see how this is brilliant, because going back to the portfolio as an investment, these are all different, revenue opportunities as well, right? So writing a book is a revenue stream in the portfolio. Having a speaking practice is a revenue stream in her portfolio. Being an executive at a career development company is a revenue stream in her portfolio. And then sitting on the board is her give back, right? So your portfolio has that mix of both. And so this allows you to say, look, I don't have to just rely on my 9 to 5 to think that that's going to fulfill my life, or that's going to be the only source of my income. But I'm going to have this portfolio career that gives me the opportunity to have a more fulfilled life, because I'm blending different things that are all aligned to the same mission. So I want to show you what this looks like in the practical day-to-day. All right, so let's jump in to planning your week out live. So let me show you what this looks like. So I'm going to show you step-by-step how you can manage the career portfolio utilizing the daily success method. And this is exactly what I do. So I am a person who has a, portfolio career. You can say career portfolio career, same thing. And I didn't even know that there was a term for this years ago, but this was what I was doing. And so hopefully this has been helpful for you to think about your multi-passions in a way to manage it all. So I'm going to show you exactly how I manage this on a day-to-day basis. So the pages that I'm going to show you right now are inside of our daily success routine planner. And if you're interested in grabbing one or learning more about that, there is this website URL here at the bottom. I wonder if I can type that into the chat box. So I know someone's going to ask me. So I'm typing that in right now to make it easy for you. Okay, great. So that's there for everyone. So let me show you the inside here and how I do this and how you can too. All right. So mission control essentially is a process that I do every Sunday. It's my once a week check-in for managing my portfolio career. So appreciation, I might look at what am I thankful for the week. So in this example, let's utilize the corporate executive. All right. So let's say we're mapping out a career portfolio for, planning out your day or your week. in a career portfolio of a corporate executive who's like a Tiffany Doufu, who has a speaking practice, who is also sitting on a nonprofit board, who is also an author or has interest in writing their own book. All right, so appreciations. So things that she might write down are, hey, I had a great date night with my significant other. Or this week I had a fun brunch with the girls. My work meetings went smoothly. So then she could recap her successes and lessons learned. Okay, so chapter 3, I'm going to finish chapter 3 in writing my book. Or I got the work promotion that I've been working towards for the last 6 months. Okay, then looking at project actions goals. So what are the things that she can make progress on for the next 90 days? So maybe she's going to this week follow through on a recommendation that she received for a cover designer for the book that she's working on. Or maybe her money milestone is taking lunch to work this week so that she can save a total of $50 for her self-care getaway. Now, one of the things that I want to point out about this, and this is, a process you can use for mapping out your week so that you're looking at all areas of your life. How many people have, if this is true for you, have you ever had the experience of trying to, oh, Jessica, that's awesome. Yes, I did see your order come in too. Your planner is on the way, Jessica. So you probably already received the email confirmation, but if you didn't, it'll come through. So your planner is on the way. So the thing to think about here is compartmentalizing life does not work. Is it true? Say yes. Type yes in the chat box if you have had the experience of trying to compartmentalize your life, saying like, oh, I need to keep work at work and I need to keep home at home, and, or, I have a separate way of planning out my day and week when it comes to work, and a whole different process and system for planning out my home life. Has anyone else been struggling with that? Okay, Rue says, I tried but always found something lack and I had to catch up on the rest of my life. Ooh, yes, Rue, well said. That is so true. Kim says, yes, and I've struggled to make a plan because of it. All right, so you ladies get it. You cannot compartmentalize your life. You're one person. You can't chop up little parts of yourself and say, okay, nobody who's in my personal life, no spouses, no significant others, no family members call me at work because I'm compartmentalized when I'm at work and that's my work time. It does not happen that way, because guess what? If stuff hits the fan and somebody in your family or a close friend or someone needs you, they're calling or texting you while you're at work. It's going to mesh together. And the same thing the other way around. If you're working on a big project at work or in your business and you need to spend some time at home in the evening to be able to get that done, it's happening. And so we have to stop keeping ourselves in pain by trying to compartmentalize our lives, because it doesn't work that way. All right, so let me show you a couple other things that I think will be helpful for you. So the parking lot, that's all about mapping out all of the things that you need to do, but you sort it. So what's important, what's income generating, and what's core to your goals. And again, this is about the whole life. So you might put grocery shopping down, finishing laundry, or applying to be a speaker at upcoming conferences and events. Hey, you got a dollar sign next to that one because that's income generating. So can you see, if we're mapping out the career portfolio for Tiffany Doufu as our corporate professional example, this is what it might look like. You can even check in on the happiness meter. How are you feeling in terms of your own self-care? Are you at a 1? Are you at a 4? Are you at a 5? Where are you? Now, here's the gold mine when it comes to managing a portfolio career, is creating focus days. This is absolutely critical. You need to have focus days. What days are you going to work on different areas in your portfolio. So you might say, okay, on Tuesdays, that's the day that I have a little bit of time to work on the volunteer work that I've committed to. That might be a nonprofit board you're sitting on. It might be a ministry that you're involved in. It might be a favor that you said you were going to do for a friend that you haven't had time to get to. But by creating focus days, you can make sure that you have a day that is carved out to do that activity. Okay, so Wednesdays might be for speaking projects. Thursdays might be another day for volunteer work. Saturdays might be, hey, that's date night. That's when I'm sewing in to the relationships that I care about, whether that's with, girlfriends, significant others, whoever. And then Sundays, of course, should be the day that you plan the week, not only, here with me, but also mapping out what you need to do for the week. So can you see how this ties together and how you would manage this portfolio of all of the things that are going on in your life? If you're having an aha moment of something that you could be doing a little bit differently right now in terms of how you're managing on your plate, then just type yes into the chat box. So I want to show you some other things as well before we wrap up for this evening. And the key here is, Tiffany says, yes, I love the focus days idea. Awesome. So you are only as effective as your systems. And if you don't have a system right now for being able to manage the day and manage the different areas in your portfolio, then you are probably not getting as much done as you would like to be getting done. You're probably not having a lot of time for self-care and things that are important to you. You probably have a lot of uncompleted projects, or you have been neglecting things that are important and are now creating overwhelm in your life, like, home maintenance, chores, getting things organized around the house, meal prepper planning, all of these things that can be able to keep you in overwhelm if you don't have systems to manage yourself. So finally, I just want to show you what this corporate executive planning the week might look like on a daily basis. Jessica, thanks for sharing that. She says, I do have a lot of uncompleted projects and everything you just said. Thanks for being so transparent, Jessica. It's so true. And we all have suffered with this at one point or another. So breaking down for the career executive again. So looking at the daily planning. So what might that look like? So the top here starts with setting up your morning routine. So a couple of things you might decide to do. And if you don't have a morning routine, we actually did a Plan the Week Live on creating morning routines. So I will send out a link to that for you so you can check that out if you're interested. All right, so morning routines might be reading your goals, because guess what? As achievers, especially high achievers, which I know many of you are, you need to always have your goals front and center. Another thing might be listening to an inspirational video every morning. I love people like, Eric Thomas, who's known as E.T., the hip hop preacher, or Lisa Nichols, Mel Robbins, or who else do I listen to? Les Brown. So maybe there's someone that is inspirational for you that you listen to jumpstart your day. Doing a 15-minute workout, stretching, doing yoga, a couple of sit-ups, just get the blood flowing, the body moving every morning, having a healthy breakfast, or doing spiritual time. So those are examples of things you might have as a part of your morning routine. Jacqueline says, yes, I love Eric Thomas and Gary Vee. Yes, I read a couple of Gary Vee's books. In fact, it's right here on my bookshelf. What is that? Jab, 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 and Crush It. I really love that Crush It book. Okay, so mantra. What might a mantra or inspiration for the day be for that corporate executive? drop the ball, someone else can catch it. Personal wellness, soul goals, something that you can do for yourself every day might be as simple as taking a bubble bath. A money milestone for the day might be booking the next speaking engagement. Hour of power is basically deciding on 1 hour that you would work towards your 90-day vision, and that might be working on your book proposal as an example. So can you see how this all breaks down? And then finally, I'm going to wrap up with planning for the day with looking at what the focus for the day would be. So what we teach in the daily success methodology is that instead of making that traditional old school to-do list, your to-do list should always be aligned with the amount of hours you have available. So let's say that you only have you have a bunch of work meetings, right? So that might take up 4 hours of your day, back-to-back meetings. Then how much time do you actually have left to get other things done? So it might be that you need an hour and a half to prepare for a board meeting, or 2 hours to write a speech for next week's talk, or that you need an hour and a half to go pick up your kids, Easter outfits, or maybe there is a birthday party that one of your kids needs to attend and you need a gift for that, right? So see how this is real life. There's not a separate thing where here's the work stuff, here's the personal stuff. You're one human being and you'll have one day. And so it's important to be able to really line things up like this, looking at the amount of time that it will take you to do each of these activities. The other thing that we teach in the daily success system is 3x3, which is 3 calls by 3 o'clock. So doing something every day, outreach towards your goals. And so in the case of that executive with the portfolio career, it might be reaching out to some recommended literary agents to be able to close that big book deal. And then prep is essentially to set up time to work on the things that you committed to do. And so writing a book is something that she committed to do for herself. And so she might spend time preparation and doing the research that is necessary to be able to, just jump right in and do the writing that is necessary for the next day. All right, so we essentially plan the week so that you can see, number one, what it looks like to create your career portfolio. But then number two, what does it look like to kind of implement that on a daily or on a once a week basis? So the key here is that small daily actions will create the life you want. So I want to know from you, what is one action that you're going to take from today's Plan the Week Live? So type that into the chat box. What is the one action that you're going to take, something that you're going to implement from what you heard today that is going to move you along? Because this is really about, I want to help you move out of, hesitation or procrastination or overwhelm into just thinking about what is one small action that I can do that is going to help me to get a little bit further along. Okay, Kim says, I see so much of these plans is showing up as what we're already doing, but in a summary. This is a way to let us off the hook when we think we're not doing enough. Thank you. Oh, that's awesome, Kim. I love that. That's so beautiful. Okay, so let's hear some more. What is the actions that you're going to take as a result of what we discussed today? Jasmine says, I like the idea of planning tasks based on the time have available. That's awesome, Jasmine. I'm telling you, that is a game changer, because too many of us make a to-do list with 10 things on it. We check 2 things off at the end of the day, and then we feel like a failure. And no, you're not a failure. It's that you had an unrealistic to-do list. It was never aligned to the amount of time that you actually had available in the day. And once it is aligned to the amount of time you have available in the day, you'll see that you will start completing them. Okay, Jacqueline says, I'm going to analyze my mission statement and make sure that my daily tasks are in line with my end goal. awesome. That is a great next step to be able to take. I'm so glad you said that. Jasmine says she also needs to define her own personal brand and mission statement. Great. So I really want to, hear from you as you develop your mission statements. If you want some feedback on it, send an email to hello@dailysuccessroutine.com. Let's say if I get, maybe like, a good number of mission statements, then I'll put together like a quick video feedback for everyone for the mission statements that you come up with. So please send those over to hello@dailysuccessroutine.com, and that email address is posted earlier in the chat box. And Jessica says, I'm so happy you said what you just said. It jumped up so quickly. That's awesome. Everyone's typing now. Okay, so Jessica says, here we go. But the unrealistic to-do list. Okay, awesome, Jessica. Ruth says, I plan to teach out, to reach out to her network and see where she could volunteer. That is aligned with my inner spirit of helping and connecting others. That's awesome, Ruth. Again, just make sure that it's aligned to your mission and the work that you want to create in the world. So awesome. Well, I hope that today's Plan the Week live session has been helpful for you. It has been my honor and pleasure to be with you again this week. Again, feel free to go and check out dailysuccessroutine.com and learn more about what we're doing there. Jasmine says, this was great. I'll be back next week. Awesome. Angela is going to define her personal statement. I love so many things and my passion is spread out. Defining my personal statement is important. Oh, Jasmine, that's awesome. Today was your first time. I'm glad you made it. And Jacqueline, you are absolutely welcome. Have a great evening to all of you. And I hope to see you back here next week for Plan the Week Live. Sunday at 7 p.m. and I will be sending out those email invitations. And Kim, awesome, it's your first time too. Now, wait, before we go, did anyone have a burning question that you wanted to ask live? I'd be happy to just take a few more minutes and do that. Any live questions, just let me know and I can unmute you. Oh, Nikki said it's your first time too. Awesome. You're welcome, Natalia. Angela's first time. You'll be back. Okay, great. Okay, Kim says yes. Do you have a LinkedIn group so we can follow up with each other? Awesome. I do not have, do I have a LinkedIn group? I feel like I just created a LinkedIn group, but I haven't started sharing it yet. But I do have a Facebook group. So let me give you the link for our private Facebook group where you can share in there as well. It's called the Daily Success Insiders. It is not a public group, so you won't be able to find it. So I'm going to just share the link. You can go there, request to join, and I will admit you into the book group. So there's the link for Daily Success Insiders for everyone who wants to join. So thanks, Kim, for mentioning that. And I'll get that LinkedIn group going also this week, which I'm pretty sure Angel on my team set it up, but I don't think we've started sharing it out yet. So we'll get that going. But there's already like tons of people in the private Facebook group. Tiffany says, any tips on how to trim down your to-do list when you have a zillion things pulling at you? Yes, that hour, setting the hours next to it is going to be critical. The other thing is, if you're utilizing the focus days, right, as a way of helping you with your to-do list, then you can set up your to-do list to be focused towards what you said you were going to focus on that day. So if part of what you need to do that day is related to your volunteer activities, and those will be the things on your to-do list, instead of having tons of completely unrelated activities. So hopefully that's helpful. Utilize the hours, basically the amount of time it's going to take you to complete the task, to be able to hone in on your to-do list. Kim says, great, I love to check in with these ladies and see what they've done to execute on these suggestions. Me too, Kim. So ladies, go into the private Facebook group. Oh, why don't we even workshop some mission statements in there? So go into the private Facebook group, post your mission statements once you get clear on them, and I will give feedback in the live Facebook group, and I'll also post video feedback for you that might help you to fine-tune your mission statement, or even if you have further questions after the session about developing your career portfolio, I'll be in the Facebook group tomorrow and every day to be able to help you with those mission statements and honing your career portfolio. Kim says, love that, Jamila. Thank you. It is my pleasure. Jessica, I'm pinning on your group. Okay, I'm going to accept everyone as soon as we are done here. So thank you for joining Plan the Week Live. I look forward to seeing you next week. And if you also have any particular topics that you would like for me to cover, then feel free to email me at hello@dailysuccessroutine.com. Go ahead, type it in the chat, or you can message me in the Facebook group and let me know. Have an awesome evening, and I look forward to seeing you next week on Plan the Week Live.